People say the safest place to park your money is in a house. They have never had a mother who agreed so completely. She decided to park yours. I left for vacation for 10 days. When I got back, the locks were different. My sister's bills were cleared. And my mother was seated at the kitchen table, prepared to tell me why I should feel thankful. $214,000. My sister smirked. My mother refilled the coffee. And I smiled, because they had sold something that was never theirs to touch. Welcome back to Revenge Finally story. Pour something warm, find a comfortable seat. And remember, every person in these stories had a chance to choose differently. They just didn't. Leave a comment below. And if you're new here, subscribe. You're exactly where you belong. My name is Myra, and by almost every standard, I am the least dramatic person in my family. I'm 37. I work as a title examiner at a small real estate law office in Pennsylvania. My job is simple to explain and complicated to do. I read deeds. I trace chains of title. I verify that the person selling you a property actually owns the property. I catch fraud before it closes escrow. I read legal documents the way some women read fiction, deliberately, thoroughly, with a pen already in my hand. I drive a 2015 Subaru with a paint scratch I keep promising to fix. I drink black coffee from a ceramic mug with a hairline crack along the base. Every single evening, I cook from my grandmother's old recipe box. Here's something people underestimate about being the steady one. Steady people own homes. Steady people have savings accounts. Steady people sleep all the way through the night because no one is texting them at midnight asking for money. I have been steady my entire adult life. It has never let me down. My sister Denise, on the other hand, never steady once. That is not admiration. Here is the quiet truth about being the daughter your mother never worries about. It sounds like a privilege. It isn't. It is a hierarchy. You are the load-bearing wall nobody inspects because it has never shown a crack. You hold everything up, and she walks right beneath you without ever tilting her head. My mother Lorraine is 63. My sister Denise is 33, divorced, and $214,000 underwater. Credit cards, a leased SUV she couldn't make payments on, restaurant tabs, a gym membership that included a private sauna. My mother's only response? She just needs a little support. Support, in my mother's language, had no ceiling. I purchased my home 3 years ago. 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, a kitchen window that caught the afternoon sun at exactly 4:17 every single day. Down payment, 20% cash. 8 years of overtime. 47 months of packed lunches and skipped dinners out. I rolled the paint myself. I installed those bookshelves with my own hands. I cooked from my grandmother's recipes at that counter every night. Now, here is the detail that makes everything else matter. When I closed on the property, I titled it inside an LLC, a single-member limited liability company. My name is the LLC on the deed. My name did not appear on the title directly. I didn't do this out of fear. I did it because I read title fraud cases every morning at my desk. Forged deeds, quitclaim scams, families who lost homes because someone they loved signed a document they had no right to sign. When you spend your days sorting through other people's disasters, protection becomes instinct. I had no idea that in 9 days, my own mother would try to sell every inch of it. My mother's boyfriend appeared in April. Gerald Pratt, 58, silver hair pressed back smooth, polo shirt tucked in with almost military neatness, a gold pinky ring that caught the light each time he reached for the bread basket. He shook my hand the way men do when they want you to feel included but not equal. At Sunday dinner, he asked which neighborhood I lived in, how many bedrooms, whether I was on a fixed rate or adjustable. I assumed it was a conversation. But here is what I noticed. He didn't speak casually. He said comparables instead of prices. He said the title was clear instead of all squared away. He asked about my closing costs the way a man who has sat at those tables before asks about them. I noticed. I just didn't know yet why it mattered. That is a man appraising a room, not joining one. My best friend Ruthie called me on a Tuesday with 4 words that rearranged my whole summer. You need to leave town. Ruthie Medina, the only person who has ever been physically asked to leave my mother's Thanksgiving table. That was 2019. She told Denise, in front of the cranberry sauce and both sides of the family, that a credit card balance is not a financial plan. My mother threw a dinner roll directly at her. An actual dinner roll. Ruthie caught it and kept chewing. We don't talk about that Thanksgiving, except constantly. I booked a cabin outside Bar Harbor, Maine. 10 days. Paper books. Lobster rolls. No Wi-Fi. Before I left, I handed my mother the spare key to water the plants and collect my mail. I want you to sit with that. Giving my mother a key wasn't naive. It was love. The two look exactly the same from the outside, right up until the morning they don't. I drove north. And for 8 days I exhaled for the first time in years. On day 8, my mother stopped picking up my calls. I packed my bags that night. I drove home a full day early. I turned onto my street at 4:47 in the afternoon, pulled into my driveway. I walked up the front steps, slid my key into the lock. It didn't move. Let me describe what that actually feels like. It isn't dramatic. It is small. That particular smallness of something that should simply work, and doesn't. I tried again. I checked the lock. It was brass. It was new. It had no memory of me. I went around to the side window. My bookshelves. My couch. My gray-painted walls. But there were cardboard moving boxes on the hardwood floor. And a man I'd never seen crouched under my kitchen sink with a wrench in his hand. His name was Dave, a plumber, hired that morning by, and listened carefully, the people who purchased this property the previous week. "This is my house," I said. Dave looked at me. I looked at the wrench. "Look back at me." I called my mother from the driveway. She answered on the very first ring. "Oh, you're home early. Come to dinner tonight. I'll explain everything." She said it the way a person says it when they have already decided which version of everything you're going to be allowed to hear. My mother's dining room was full when I arrived. Uncle Roy in the corner with a beer. Cousin Jillian setting out rolls. Gerald, seated at the head of the table like a man who recently appointed himself to a role he invented from scratch. And Denise. New earrings. New blouse. Watching me the way you watch someone who hasn't heard the joke yet. My mother waited until the salad plates were cleared. "I sold the house," she said, the way a person says they returned a library book. "Finished. Done." Denise leaned back in her chair and looked straight at me. "Looks like you're homeless now, sis." Gerald laughed, short and approving, like a man watching a trick he designed himself perfectly. I looked at my mother. I looked at Gerald. I looked at my sister. And I smiled. Denise's face shifted immediately. "What exactly is funny? There's something about silence in a room full of people who just wronged you. It is not a weakness. It is arithmetic. You are measuring everything you know against everything they assume you don't. And the gap between those two numbers, that is your entire advantage." I placed my fork down, slowly, carefully, and I asked one question. "Who signed the deed?" My mother blinked. "I did. I'm your mother." "And whose name is on the title?" She paused. Half a second. But in that half second I watched her search for a detail she had never once looked up. And I watched Gerald fix his eyes on the salt shaker. The way a man stares at something neutral when he doesn't want to look at anything real. "My name," I said, "is not on the title. The property is held inside an LLC. You have no authority to sign for it. The quitclaim deed you filed with my forged signature carries no legal weight whatsoever. You didn't sell my house, Mom. You committed a felony." The room went still. Not quiet, still. The kind of still where a dozen people stop breathing simultaneously, and the only sound left is the ceiling light buzzing above the table. Uncle Roy set his glass down. "Lorraine," low and careful. "Tell me she's mistaken." Lorraine said nothing. I stood up, took my phone from my pocket, and called my attorney, standing right there at my mother's table with every family member watching. "Helen, it's Myra. I need you first thing tomorrow." My mother filed a forged quitclaim deed on my property while I was out of state. The property is titled in the LLC. She had no signing authority. Denise said I was overreacting. I am being precise. Choose one. Helen confirmed everything I already understood. The deed was void. Not voidable void. It had produced no legal transfer at all. My house had never changed hands in any meaningful sense. But that wasn't even the full picture. Gerald hadn't only helped my mother forge my signature. He had also used a discredited notary, a man named Vince Cleety, who routinely notarized documents without the actual signer present. Gerald had known him for years, from back when Gerald still held a real estate license. That license had been revoked 4 years earlier. For misrepresentation. He had run this play before. And the property sold for $187,000. Fair market value was at minimum $230,000. Gerald told my mother it was worth far less, then kept the $23,000 spread for himself. My mother believed she was rescuing Denise. Gerald was rescuing Gerald. Then I opened my savings account. I had added my mother to a joint account 2 years before, Just a cushion, $18,000 in it. An act of love from the dependable daughter. 0. 3 withdrawals across 10 days. $6,000. $6,000. $6,000. And a transfer to an account number I had never seen. None of that money went toward Denise's debt. That was the precise moment I stopped feeling hurt and started feeling surgical. Pain is a reaction. Precision is a choice. We filed the quiet title action on a Monday. By Wednesday, the county recorder had flagged the forged deed and forwarded the matter to the district attorney. Gerald Pratt was arrested on a Tuesday at 6:15 in the morning. Felony forgery. Felony fraud. Bail set at $75,000. My mother did not post it. He pleaded guilty. The judge handed down 18 months in state prison and ordered complete restitution. The notary surrendered his commission. The young couple who believed they had purchased my home had their escrow funds returned in full. And my key, turned in my own front door once more. The hallway smelled like oak and lemon cleaner. The third stair creaked under my foot the moment I stepped on it. The afternoon light cut through the kitchen window at exactly 4:17 and turned the wood grain amber. I set my grandmother's recipe box on the counter. I held the chipped mug in both hands. And I breathed. Later, I found a small note folded at the back of the recipe box. My grandmother's handwriting, compact and even, written in blue ink on the back of an apple butter card. You are allowed to keep what you built, even from the people you love. My grandmother kept a recipe box. My mother kept a favorite daughter. I kept the deed. And in the end, the woman with the paperwork turned out to be the one they should have never underestimated. If this story landed the way I hope it did, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories about people who refuse to stay silent, and share what you're thinking in the comments. And as always, thank you for sitting here with me. The coffee's still warm. The mug's still chipped. I'll see you next time.